Hello, you guys. Welcome to today's episode. I hope you're all good. If you're new here, my name is Kumi, and you're on the Kuminong Traveling and Lifestyle channel. Thank you, everybody who subscribed, and thank you, everybody who keeps watching these videos. Please consider subscribing. In today's episode, we just want to take you guys with us to the Edo Museum in Tokyo. We just want to take you through some compelling reasons as to why you should start here if you really want to know the real Japan. For breakfast on this day, we opted for a Japanese kind of breakfast. This is how it looks like. Basically, it had fish, it had egg, it had rice, and all the things that you see here. So what we enjoyed the most was the beef stew. As I wanted to just zoom in and show you guys how it looked like. It was so good. It did not even have spices or anything, but it tasted so good. And the miso soup is always good in the morning. Like, it's hot and it just gives you that vibe. And yeah, the rice is filling. So as soon as we are done, we needed to sort our homeschooling, and the kids were just going through just 2 hours of homeschooling today because we are going to the museum. And we then finished with our homeschooling. We went to find lunch, and as you can see, we opted to have sushi. But here, our girl who loves avocado was like, this sushi doesn't have avocado in it. I need my sushi with avocado. So me and her were like agreeing, let's go get avocado. So we went and bought avocados separately. We enjoyed our sushi with avocados, and our avocado lover here was so happy. We got done taking snaps for the teens, and we headed over to go catch a train and a subway. So there are trains underneath there in that building. So we did catch a train and we headed over to the museum. So about the museum, guys, as I said, there are many compelling reasons why you should go to this museum if you really want to know the real Japan. Someone once said, if you want to know what's in the future or what's happening right now, you somehow need to go back into history. I couldn't agree more, guys. This museum is mind-blowing. It will blow your mind on so many levels. Edo Museum just captures how Japan, not Tokyo, how Japan used to be like from back then, back in the day. And it's amazing how we got to see how Japan is currently, the technologies and stuff like that, but yet they still manage to keep and preserve their history. So a lot of people come to Japan here, they want to immerse themselves in culture, they want to understand the cultural aspect of Japan, yet they still get their mind blown actually by the fact that Japan is both cultural and is so advanced. How do you get the tech and not lose yourself? So if I were to talk for where we come from where I come from in South Africa, I would say that as soon as the Western things got introduced, a lot of African things, we lost them. I remember myself growing up seeing a whole lot of things that I was fond of, I was familiar with. But right now, I cannot even show them to my children, like the type of housing. The Japanese guys, they still keep their architectural style, yet they live in the modern day. But if I were to say to my children, let me go show you how we lived when I grew up. We lived in this kind of housing that was thatched with thatch roof. It was cool. It was a climate friendly and stuff like that. I wouldn't even find those kind of things, because as soon as people started progressing and Western lifestyle things got introduced, we somehow lost everything. We felt we don't need these things in our lives anymore. But yeah, this Edo museum, it is mind blowing. And they are learning calligraphy.
The custom of childbirth. Childbirth during the Edo period was generally seated delivery, and the woman in labor used a rope suspended from the ceiling or an assistant as support. The newborn baby was given its first bath by the midwife, who seated herself in front of the bathtub and bathed the baby by placing it on its face on her lap. One reason for doing this was to protect the opening made from cutting the umbilical cord from getting wet. Another reason was because it was commonly believed that one should not take their eyes off the child's bed, which according to Chinese belief was important. Place which accommodated all five viscera, liver, lungs, heart, kidney, and spleen. The mother of the newborn child, in accordance with a popular tradition to prevent blood from rushing to her head, had to spend 7 days and 7 nights seated, either in the delivery seat or leaning against the powder futon. It was not uncommon for this practice to warm the woman's heart.
As you can see, guys, we learned so much. We learned how the Japanese used to do their carvings and create from the wood. And we also got to learn how everything evolved, even their writing, even the current Japanese, how it evolved. And the best other thing that we got to learn on that day is how the Japanese also got to do business with the foreign countries as well, how they did their imports and exports. And we could see that as South Africans, this is where we feature. It was so eye-opening, enlightening, and everything. So this museum, the other thing I love about it is that it's interactive. A whole lot of areas you can see and then you can interact with the things. It's just not a museum that is quiet. So there are many areas in this museum. It's quite big. You will need maybe a couple of hours to go through the entire museum, but you will thank yourself that you did that, because traveling in Japan after going to the Edo Museum, everything else then will make sense to you. So for our kids, everything was like exciting. I've never seen them so excited. The egg was there. The fish. Guys, even the sushi, we got to see how it evolved. The introduction of sushi, what was the logic behind it, everything. I mean, we got to see the Japanese food in its all fullness, and it's mind-blowing and surprising that even today Japanese food is still tasty. I don't know how they manage to keep their food tasty, and it has so much taste. I mean, the kabocha is something that I always enjoy, and it's so tasty. And this is their money. It just got to show how they were exchanging money and how were they using money. What did money look like back then? And yeah, so there are so many areas. A lot of people get excited when they see the sakuras, but you can just go to the museum and then get to see where do they even come from, how do they even get to Japan. So this kind of things that are the reasons why I'm saying you need to visit the Edo Museum, guys, in order for you to understand Japan. Once you start living here, or even if you come here for a holiday, you just the first stop maybe, or just make time to pass by the Edo Museum. You'll see everything. It was so interesting for our kids to see how, in Japan, in Tokyo itself, there are so many subways, there are so many train lines, there are so many trains. We got to see how they got introduced. There's an interactive booth where you get to just pressing on the lines, and they keep on layering and layering on the maps as well, so you can just see, oh, this is when the trains got introduced, this is when everything started getting modernized, this is during their first Olympic Games. They then went all the way to make sure that the public transport system is working right now, and this is when the bullet train was introduced. This picture there, this.
Oh, there's another one over here.
You see, they were going up the hill.
Underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky.
This dish. Look at this.
Lunch is in the 2000.
Lunch is in the 2000.
That looks nice.
Didn't you guys have this school lunch with the milk?
Nope.
Yeah, it's the year 2000s.
We didn't have this kimchi rice.
School lunch is in the
All
90s.
the jelly.
What's the difference?
That one looks more delicious.
School uniform in the 90s.
Here's the government building.
And school lunches in the 80s. What's the difference? Oh, they're introducing the milk. People have always ate healthy. Oh, things that were introduced as years went by. There was no rice export. Yes. Bikes, school lunches in the 60s.
All good.
So guys, as you can see, the kids managed to see how everything evolved from the TVs and cars and housing, how things used to look like from the washing machines. They saw how the Japanese designed their houses and the evolution, and also where the tatami mats come from, and how the toilets used to look like, how the kitchens used to look like, and stuff like that. And as homeschoolers, this is some kind of information that you would really not get in textbooks, or even if you do get it in textbooks, you really need to see it in person. So the Edo Museum is such a good place to go visit, because you get to learn so much from just that one visit alone. You would swear you know the entire history of Japan after knowing that. And this is valuable information that you won't find easily in textbooks. It will take you time and time to search. And yeah, so for homeschooling people, this is a brilliant place to go and visit. Because anyway, traveling on its own, and just seeing tourist attractions is part of education. So that's how we view it in our family. That's how we incorporate it also as part of learning. So traveling is part of learning. We don't isolate it and say, today we were having a holiday. This is part of us learning.
You turn to
This is how Ginza looked like in the Edo period. It was called Bricktown. As you can see, wow, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. Just silent for the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. Just silent for the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. Follow me down, there's no one around. Lay back and take your socks and shoes right off. That natural light is so damn polite, can make you feel just like you were young again. Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, the fire grows. We are ready for this life.
Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. Help this channel go a long way. We really appreciate every one of you who keeps watching. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, recommend this channel to other people as well. Thank you so much guys. We really appreciate everything, and we hope you will stick around on this channel as we get to share how we get to live in Japan, how we get to travel and holiday in Japan. As we said, introduction of this video is all about traveling and our lifestyle, so get to enjoy all our content and get to interact with us through these videos. Thank you so much for watching.
Follow me down, there's no one around. Lay back and take your socks and shoes right off.
That's what you used to do.
Natural light is so damn polite, can make you feel just like you were young again. Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, a fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild. We're running wild. Underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky.